Hey friends, Inquisitive Margot here, and today's story is Dysfunctional Systems Learning to Manage Chaos. This game seems super interesting to me. It's another visual novel game, and it's... Oh, Super Smart Me has forgotten what it's called, but it's a story game, so... I like the music. It's very nice. Alrighty, so new story. This is kind of set in the future. Television. Working families across Brighton are no doubt issuing a collective sigh of relief today, as the legislation for a minimum wage increase of 50 cents passed in Parliament early this morning. That's a great start, me tripping over my own tongue. This bill comes after public outcry that the majority of Brighton citizens are without enough income, too poor to make ends meet after their recent increase in food prices. The change brings minimum wage for workers working for over 40 hours a week to $3.67 an hour. Oh, okay. And workers working less than $3.20. Although welcomed by most, there has been stiff opposition toward the bill from foreign investors, primarily those for Gabria. Major Gabrian companies such as Ujco and Norkley Norkley, it's funny, have warned that wage increases will hurt Brighton's economy, arguing that the new rate would force more layoffs, as they cannot afford as many employees. President Barnaby, who has been supportive of the legislation since its inception, retorted that well-fed employees were more productive and reminded Ujco and Norkley representatives that employing a Brighton citizen was still over 6 times less expensive than employing a citizen from their home country. Stocks did, however, make a moderate tumble after the approval of the legislation. President Barnaby assures citizens that the drop should only be temporary, and that the markets will begin to rise again after the initial shock has subsided. With this minimum wage increase, Barnaby has finally fulfilled the last of the campaign promises made during his 1523 campaign trial. Whether or not he manages to accomplish his 1527 goals remains to be seen. With that, we conclude our hourly business report. Next up, the latest in entertainment news. Without a doubt, I still find it strange. Everything strange, bizarre. Really, if these worlds were nothing like my own, at least then I could appropriately flip out. But no, they're similar. Too similar. I keep slipping into a feeling of normalcy, only to have that sensation of strangeness slap me across the face the first sight of something weird. There are plenty of weird sights around to do so, too. Like, for instance, these advanced-looking televisions in the decrepit-looking building, which I can only assume is an electronics store. They are the first things I've seen since arriving in this world that actually look somewhat new. Fancy, even. Up until now, everything has been old, ramshackle, and in various states of disrepair. It makes me feel very nervous. It's just so profoundly disturbing. Will I ever get used to this? I think that I will. Some year or decade from now, if my mentor is any indication. Look at him, standing there so aloof, as if this were just another day to him. Which, yeah, I suppose it is. Well, what do I know? Nothing. Cyrus. This guy. Winter. Oh, that sounded a lot more. That didn't come out right. Oh, look at him looking lazy as fuck. Yes? What do you think? Think? About what? About what we just saw and heard. Oh. Is she wearing any pants? Look, look, follow my mouse, follow it down here. Look at this. Any pants? I don't think so. To be honest, I wasn't really thinking about it. Anything about it. Winter, we've only just started. Please try to focus. Yes. Yeah, I will. Sorry. It's just... well... I'm still finding it a bit hard to wrap my head around the idea of destructive conflict. Well, of course. I was the same when I just started out. There aren't that many examples of conflict at all in our world. Right! You might even find it surprising that war is actually a word in our dictionary. Totally! Yet still... Winter, you'll come to understand conflict very well. Don't worry. After all, you'll be doing nothing but dealing with it. Lame. Well, anyway. You read the material in this world, right? It should have been your homework. It was. Then tell me what you think. Perhaps it's time to admit that I didn't spend much of last night reading the material so much as turning the pages and glancing at them. I was tired, and she looks so, like, profound in thought. Thinking, gazing into his eyes, and she's just... I was tired, and honestly, I honestly found watching the bubbles in my soda significantly more captivating than the words on those files. The way they merge with each other and crawl up the glass is really incredibly pretty. You're certainly pondering rather hard there, Winter. You must be whipping up a dazzling answer. Brighton is... poor? Well done. That's a fact, Winter, not a thought. Sorry, what I think is... I think... nothing! Look what I learned so far in class doesn't seem to be particularly applicable to this world, so I'm finding it a bit difficult to care. How can I care anyway? Besides all of that, this is all so disconnected from me. Plus, it's only my second world, for heaven's sake. I'm still flummoxed by the fact that other worlds exist. What am I supposed to think when they just toss me into these places, give me a pat on the back and say, "Be on your way, merry child"? Actually, here's a thought. What kind of name is Brighton? That's a stupid name for a country. It sounds more like a town. The town of Brighton, population 40. Ah, blah! I'll scream blah at Cyrus and any other mentor who questions me like this. I mean, I won't, but I would. I completely, totally, and so would. For now, though, an awkward and wobbling smile is all I can muster. Blah. She is thinking so much. I love his face, just waiting for like 10 minutes. I seen you on Codex and I'm getting really distracted by that. I'm gonna look at this real quick. Brighton. It's a codex, so... okay. Let's learn about Brighton a little bit. Besides it being poor, Brighton is a minor society on S8659541, Seoul, with a strong historical and present connections with both Gabria and Ferdia. A site of several rich mineral deposits, it was previously a Gabrian colony, but gained independence in 120 Seoul years ago. Okay, so we're... space! More space! I'm not actually that big of a fan of sci-fi. I like fantasy. Sci-fi... I mean, I like Star Wars. Yeah. Not that big of a fan of Star Trek, but I mean... I like looking at space. I think that's fun. It also shares a large portion of its border with Ferdia, and a truce has been signed between Gabria and Verdia concerning the territory. Brighton was still a colony at the time. Although Brighton shares in the technological advancement of its mother country, it does not share in prosperity and is economically weak by comparison. The Brighton people are a hardworking and closely knit group and tend to describe themselves metaphorically as ants. The society has yet been visited. Okay, so we're visiting it now. We just got here. Okay, Sol is a planet. We're going to read this, yes. I'm going to read everything. System 8659541, plane P73813, local name Sol, status active, type planet, major societies 9, so like 9 countries. Development scientific, low level, rapid advancement. Physics rigid. What's the physics? Rigid. Plane shared with those guys. Isolated, yes. Visits 45. Personal security note: many species of fish on Sol are poisonous to earthen. Avoid seafood to be safe. Alrighty. So this system, Sol, is one of 4 planetary civilizations known to reside on plane 73813. Currently, it is unaware of its distant neighbors and is likely to remain so, as it has not yet achieved interstellar travel. I'm guessing we originate from Earth. That's just my thought. Although this looks like Earth. Mainly because it's blue. Sol's 5 continents are largely arid and mountainous. However, each contains small patches of fertile land. These lands were once endangered due to war and conflict, but are now fiercely protected as a result of meditation visits from numbers 8 through 15. Mediation. I don't know why I said meditation. It's mediation. So, Sol contains 12 oceans, all of which are heavily salted and somewhat acidic. Nevertheless, these oceans contain a variety of sea life, and consequently, fishing constitutes a large portion of both the economy and food supply in Sol. International conflicts with regards to the ownership and right to fish sea life was resolved in mediation visits 16 to 22. Okay, so we're a part of a group of people who go out to planets and manage the chaos there, I guess. And we try to keep the planets intact, I guess? I don't know what the purpose is, but... The harsh conditions of the planet have led to an increase in the rate of technological advancement, causing Sol to teeter on the brink of an outlier classification. Scientific discoveries can happen much more quickly here than most other worlds. Due to this, levels of chaos within the system are variable, and may spike unexpectedly. However, overall, this has not been a common occurrence. Although there are 9 societies on Sol of notable influence, there are 3 that are of particular importance to the system. These 3 are called Gabria, Ferdia, and Rosaire. The remaining 6, Roma, Caras, Dome, Jonas, and the Madlands, and Messe, are not usually of major consequence, though are often caught up in the quarrels in the main 3. The main 3 will be covered in brief in the following paragraph. Please visit their respective codex entries and the more in-depth information. I will, because that's what I do. I like to read things. Alrighty. Gabria is the most economically powerful. Wow. I'm just having troubles today. Powerful of the 3, largely due to its sizable number of colonies scattered across the globe. It is the most frequently problematic. Ferdia is a military superpower as well as a paragon of the arts. Alright. Photographs and guns. It is prone to warring, and is also commonly involved with the subject of mediation. The last society, Rosaire, is diabolical, having a reputation of cruelty and bizarre acts of violence. It has used fear to rise to power and control its populace. Interestingly, it is the least problematic of the three, and its involvement in issues can dramatically lower the levels of chaos. Despite Soul's occasionally high levels of chaos, it is not often required mediation, and is considered quite stable. Still, caution should be taken when visiting this world. Okay. So now we know more about the country we're in and the planet we're on. See? Learning! I guess we're learning to be this guy. Well, whatever. What do you think the next step is? Alright, cool it, Winter. Just remain calm and genuinely consider the question. The next thing to do, we need to learn things that weren't given? Right. Sir, I couldn't ask my last mentor, why are the dossiers we get before we come to these places so thin? Well, it's because they are simply compromised of first-hand information, noteworthy things that mediators have gathered through observation and gleaned from prior trips to the world. You're lucky you even have that much. Sometimes you get sent to worlds that have never been visited before. Let me tell you, it's never fun when a surprise dragon flies out from behind a mountain, or when you realize that the person you've been talking to is really just a convincing projection. Or worse, a robot. And once you start going into systems that threaten your definition of what being a world even means, good luck. Then again, only experienced mediators have to deal with such things. You won't be going to any unvisited worlds. At least definitely not yet. Oh, another question. Why revisit worlds that have been helped? I mean, once order is in place, everything should be fine, right? I mean... Silence. Cyrus frowns, but his expression seems more complicated than that. I say that because his frown isn't alone. In his eyes there is a glint of irritation directed at no one in particular. As any glint, it is gone in a second, replaced by another thing that I can't quite decipher. Part of me is curious as to what it is, but most of me doesn't care. Here's the short answer, because chaos cannot be contained or removed. Although it can be lessened by us, it will rise again over time. Sir, are you saying there's no point in it to anything? No. Chaos is not inherently bad, Winter. It is the means by which all worlds are born and continue, even ours. Furthermore, it is the spark of evolution. It plays a key part in those mutations which allow life to grow and improve itself. However, for life to succeed, there must also be order. It's like... Well, it's like how cells must work together and organs must serve their purpose. You see, a system where chaos is stronger than order is likely to collapse. Just an organism which has succumbed to disease and is likely to die. In short, we are not here to eradicate chaos, Winter. We are only here to keep it in check. Oh. ... Anyway, where do you think we should go next? Well, someplace with a lot of information, I suppose. Allow me to get to thinking about such a place. Oh, I'm done! Surprise! The answer's so obvious it's insulting. After all, I had already gone there during my first mediation. The library! No, that's not... Why would we go to the library? She's so proud of herself. Oh god. I mean, I get your line of thought. Libraries can tell you a lot about the world's history, and I would bet there are computers there too, considering the world we're in. Unfortunately, that kind of knowledge probably wouldn't be so helpful for this job. What about scholarly journals? Reliable sources! Her world's falling apart. No, I think we should find a bar. Yeah! Huh? What is it? Oh, well, I just had a thought. Are the bars here special, like library bars? His face. Just dealing with her mentality right now. I figured maybe you like a drink as you read, maybe. He can't. Winter, stop thinking about libraries. Sorry. Bars here should be normal as far as I'm aware. We'll head there because bars are where people like to talk. Cyrus then turns to walk away as if the next natural thing to do. Well, it is not. I stand incredulously there for 3 full seconds before realizing that we were supposed to move ahead. Well, here we are, walking along. Is this a street? I've seen a few vehicles pass by, so I guess it is. Or should I say that I've heard them, for they have been loud. They are pretty sorry excuses for transportation, though. They have these grotesque metal protrusions out of their fronts, which billow dark smoke and occasionally drip liquid. Ew. As if that weren't bad enough, most every frame of these things looks like a bludgeon team went wild on it. They were such bewildering things that they distracted me from the matter at hand. Cyrus. Is he not going to elaborate at all? He just walked off after telling me that people talk at bars. Thanks, Cyrus. I would not have guessed that people talk at places. Is he supposed to be teaching me? How can I learn anything with such vague statements? Oh, Winter, well, you need to go to the ice cream parlor. Winter, because they sell food. Winter, well. Good God. Goodness, how annoying. And hasn't he been annoying since orientation? Pestering me and staring at me? An annoying and unlikable person, this Cyrus, with a reputation at that, I hear. I mean, seriously, don't people talk everywhere? Sir, don't people talk everywhere? Shit, she's bringing this up. Okay. Isn't that the sort of thing humans are known for, in general? Well, aren't you, Snippy? Oh crap, I just ruined everything, didn't I? I need to stop thinking so much, or I'll let my thoughts slip out. Ah! I shouldn't have said that. He's my superior. I better lower my grade now. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to be. It's just a bit frustrating when you don't explain yourself properly. Oh? I thought it was mostly self-explanatory. Not really at all, sir. Well, maybe it is, but I don't really know anything about bars. I've never even seen the outside of one. Oh, that's right. We're not really into drinking back home, are we? I don't know if I would say that. Perhaps not everyone is the same. Well, bars are generally a place where people go to unwind. And the alcohol loosens their lips, so to speak. They'll talk about almost anything. Themselves, their troubles, and often the root of the problem will involve what's troubling the world's people. It's a useful place to visit. Speaking of problems, what was the issue of the last world you visited? Pollution. The world was kind of oldish and much less practical than ours. They kept throwing out their stuff wrong and had bad ways of making energy. Their water ended up getting poisoned and a lot of them were sick. Long-term project, I assume? Yeah, my mentor had already been working on it for a while before I came. I think it was around 5 months. That's so. Glad I'm assigned short-term projects. It'd be something awful to get stuck with the same problem for nearly a year. I agree, but I don't know about the way you said that. How long did you shadow her? 3 days. I see. 3 fucking days? You've never had alcohol, have you? What? Who was that? I saw that whoever may have been her older sister, her mom or something. No, sir! I would never. I mean, I'm too young. I stop in my tracks and he stops to turn. His lips then curl up into an oh-ho-ho expression. Oh-ho-hoing at my innocence, ripe to be defiled. Oh my god! He does have that face too, though. She steps back. It is creepy. I am uncomfortable. No, you wouldn't do anything against the rules, would you? Is that a test? A trick? A challenge? No, sir, I would not. His smile broadens at this, and my discomfort increases. You know, Winter. Each world you visit will have its own laws, its own customs, and its own social graces. You're going to have to make your mind a bit more flexible if you want to succeed. I'm going to have you drink some alcohol at the bar. Excuse me? I don't want to. Besides, I'm underage. It's against the law. Well, Winter, in many cultures you will be expected to drink, even at your current age. You should be ready for that, and you should know the effects alcohol has on yourself and others. What? He's telling me to break the law? Whoa, no. That is completely out of my comfort zone. I probably hate alcohol even. Right? I don't want to do this. I mean, I know we're in another world, so it's not really the law, but no, this is my conviction. I was born and raised to a set of rules, and I think it would be best to live by them. Her frown. It is like what I learned in class. Excuse me. One might think it best to try absorbing all aspects of cultures met. However, it is not advisable. In absorbing culture, you run the risk of becoming absorbed in that culture as well. Mediators should not forget who they are. I am Winter Harrison. I will not be shaken by this. I don't think I can do that, sir. Winter. That's an order. This is part of your training. If you do not drink alcohol at the bar, I will be forced to fail you. What? That is it. That's not allowed. You can't make me do anything. I most certainly can. I'm your mentor. Only for today. Only for today, and you aren't always going to be that. He is not having any of her shit right now. Besides, you can't threaten me because I have my convictions and I won't forget who I am. I'm right. I can tell I'm right because my cheeks are flushed, my heart is pounding, and he looks wounded. I hurt him. I struck out against him, and he knows he's wrong. It isn't just enough that he's hurting inside, though. I need to teach him a lesson. I need to knock it into him. Therefore, I will raise this trembling arm and trembling fist. I will raise it and grip my teeth, and I'll punch him right in his pathetic-looking chest. Ha! Oh my Jesus Christ! What? Okay, I think that's a stomach, but you know. Oh, poor baby. Winter, what is this? I'm rebelling against you. Did you just punch me? I nod my head quickly and with purpose. You did. What does it look like? My fist smashed into your ribs, isn't it? Well, smashed is... Nah, he's batting your head. All of a sudden, my hair goes puff, as if something heavily has lightly fallen on it. I glance up to find Cyrus resting his hand on my head. Ah, he finds her adorable. Although I know what he is doing, in fact, I just said so, I am still compelled to ask, what are you doing? Winter. Fine. I won't force you to drink. You mean you can't? I mean I won't. Oh my god, this duo. I will, however, put forth a stern suggestion. It would be very wise of you to drink. It will help you ease into the taste of another place. I know that they've taught you, and I'd be lying if I said ignore what I've learned. Just remember the way it's worded. You're allowed to let yourself go a little. Just don't forget. I haven't forgotten, and neither have you, it seems. But you shouldn't be afraid of stepping outside of yourself, if only for a little while. In a sense, that's what you're doing already in being here. So I urge you, Winter, have a pint. I'll... just a little. Good enough. All of that was super cute. Well, there's a bar. Come on, Winter. That's a bar? What makes it any different from any other stores? It looks just the same from the outside. They don't seem to pride themselves in distinction out here. I run my hand through my hair and grimace. I wonder if all the storefronts look like this. Maybe they're all bars? What a terrible thought. What if this is a culture which loves to drink? Will I be expected to drink a lot? I hope not. Warily, I begin to follow Cyrus. What am I doing? This is so illegal. I wonder if I can report this. Okay, brace for it. No amount of alcohol-tinged breath can be enough to prepare me for a bar smell, surely. Alrighty. I don't think this is going to be a good place to stop. So I'm just going to end this first chapter here. I really like this. I really like this story. I think it's really adorable. I like Winter. Although there's a lot of talking going on right now. I'm waiting to interact at some point. Oh, excuse me. Alrighty. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye, friends.